What's up?
Hey.
How's everybody doing out there? Welcome back.
Yes, welcome back.
Well, today we want to speak about preparing yourself, and a question we get up from a lot of our African American viewers is what's life like in South America, Ecuador, in our case, and we want to address some of those questions that we get and really just give some advice. So to start out, we want to address, the elephant in the room, which is the safety in the country. There are some insecurity issues. There's a lot of upheaval in the political aspect of the country. Presidency. There's actually an election in 2 days, so we'll see how that works out. But as far as us, we still enjoy it here. We haven't run into any problems personally. We do know there's issues in the country, but we realize that there are going to be some issues anywhere we go, and it's definitely a concern that we have. It hasn't gotten to the point where we feel like we need to leave, but if and when that happens,
we do have a backup plan.
So that leads us to the next thing. If you are in the States or Canada, and as an African American, you're deciding that, maybe it's time to leave the United States, the first thing we will say is, the first thing we've always said is, do your research.
Do your research. Do not base your decision on someone else's opinion or someone else's decision. Yes, you can go to Facebook groups. You can go to, different Facebook groups and ask questions. YouTube, ask questions, but you need to do your own research. You need to visit. Even if you can't spend 3 to 4 weeks there, if you can only go for a week, go for a week. But before you go, see if you can connect with someone there who's an expat and find out, have some boots on the ground.
Yeah, try to get in contact with people. Like she was saying, don't just go by what one or two people will tell you, especially if those are the ones who are giving you all of the positives about their life. They're not telling you about the negatives. They're not telling you about the little things that are much different, that may not be little things to you.
Yes.
It may be big things to you.
That's correct.
Like not being able to just drink tap water might be a big deal to you.
Yes.
That's going to be a problem pretty much anywhere outside the U.S. and Canada.
And finding a place that may have hot water.
Yeah. All over, instead of just the shower, or maybe not even in the shower.
Yes, because there are some places here that do not have hot water, but the Ecuadorians are used to that. Some of them don't have hot water, and it's okay. You
just have to know that coming here, that may be something that you experience. So another thing that comes with proper research is money. One of the reasons that we chose Ecuador is because the currency here is the US dollar. So there was no loss in the exchange. It just makes things a little bit easier. You get a little bit more for your money.
Yeah.
To go with the fact that the cost of living here is pretty low, being able to use the US dollar without having to do any kind of conversion is a major, major bonus. I can't stress that enough. That doesn't mean that other countries aren't as good a choice. You may have to do some conversion, but that was one of the reasons that we chose this country. So while doing your research, make sure you're looking at the currency and the cost of living.
Now, another thing to consider, when you're looking at other countries, some countries don't have AC. So if it's AC you need to have, you may want to look at places that do offer AC.
Yeah, because depending on your body type, everyone's either too hot or too cold in any situation. If you're in a mountainous area or a cooler area, a country, like she said, having air conditioning may be completely abnormal, and you have to use your windows and fans and whatnot because it may be cool a lot. So the days when you're hot,
it's hot.
You may just be hot. So keep that in mind. Also remember that when you come to another country and you're doing your research, try to learn the culture.
Yes.
As much as you can. You're not going to pick up everything, obviously. Try to learn the language and the culture, because that will help you get by a lot. Especially as African Americans, we don't run into it. There really doesn't seem to be a disadvantage for us being here as African Americans. We want to make sure that we're not standing out for the wrong reasons, if that makes sense. So we try to learn how the culture is here, try to blend in as much as possible, and just be good citizens of the country.
And in your research, you want to also be aware of the rental laws. There may not be any.
Yeah.
Okay, you may be at the discretion of the owner of the rental property. You know, you need to know whether or not are you responsible for fixing repairs. Is the owner responsible? You know, you want to make sure all of that is in the contract.
And things just run a little different here.
Yeah.
And know whatever country you're trying to visit or move to. Like she said, talk to some people on the ground and ask them, hey, what's it actually like to rent a place here? Who do you know that's renting a place? You know, something like that. And get as much information as possible. Because the more information you have, the less of a shock you'll have when you actually come to a place. Because people come here and then sometimes they're just legitimately culture shocked. I can't say that they didn't do their research, but they possibly didn't do enough research. Or they didn't make a trip beforehand.
Yeah. And also, make sure your passport is up to date.
Yeah. Don't come here on the last year of your passport.
You cannot, they will not allow you entry if you have 6 months or less on your passport. So before you book your trip, make sure your passport is over 6 months. It would be best to go ahead and get your passport once you see you're coming up on your expiration date.
Yeah. Especially because of the backup.
Yeah, the backup. If you're within a year, like getting close to a year left on your passport, go ahead and apply.
Yeah, start as early as possible. So for any country that you may be planning to go to, check the visa rules, see how long you can stay in the country under tourist temporary visas and different visa types. Just really do all your research when it comes to going to another country.
And when you go into these other countries, you need to be aware whether or not how much cash you want to carry on you. Some places don't accept credit cards, so you don't want to walk around with a lot
of
money on you. You need to know how much, the places you're going to, how much is it? Like if your lunch is going to be $4, you only really need to have about $7. You know, because you're gonna buy something if you decide to buy something to drink if it doesn't come with the meal. So $7 is pretty much all you need.
So yeah, money. Research the money situation, the visa, passport situation for any country you're going to visit.
Cost of living.
Yeah, the cost of living, that's extremely important. You want to find out, first, you're probably going to have to find out where the other expats are. And there's a good chance that wherever that area is, it's going to be a little more expensive than where the locals live. Yeah. And I can say that not just about Ecuador, it's probably any expat area in any country. Find out how much rentals and properties are on the high end, and then try to find out how much they are on the very low end. Like, what do the locals pay?
Right, and then if you plan on being in a coastal area, what is their off-season prices and low-season prices?
Yeah, high season and low season. Yeah. Do your research about transportation. How are you going to get around in this place, in this new place? Will it be taxis, Ubers? Are Ubers even available?
Purchasing a car. What comes along with that? Having a driver's license,
registration,
taxes, all of that. You need to be aware of that. Are they going to accept your U.S. driver's license, or are you going to have to go through the whole process to get a driver's license? So those things you want to check into as well.
Another note on transportation. Find out if there is good public transportation in the places you're going, because if you're not deciding to buy a vehicle, then how are you going to get around?
Yeah. And, with any place, just like in the States with Ubers, you want to make sure you're getting to the right taxi. You want to make sure there's no other person in the taxi when you're getting into the taxi. You know, it's best that you call for a taxi instead of picking a taxi off the road. But if you have no other choice, yes, that's very understandable.
Just
but
be cautious.
if you can call for a taxi, call for a taxi.
Yeah.
If your transportation would be the bus, you do the same as you would if you was on the subway. Clutch everything.
Yeah.
Make sure it's not accessible to anyone to pickpocket you. You know, just
don't wear headphones, the like over-ear type headphones that someone can just snatch off and run off the bus with. Simple things that you should consider in those situations.
Don't be on your phone.
Yeah, and learn the bus routes.
Yeah.
Learn the bus routes wherever you're going. Whether you plan on using them or not, you never know when you actually will need to get on the bus, because you never know what'll happen, and you may have some money in your pocket for a taxi and something happens, or you spend the money whatever, and you're like, oh man, I only have enough change to get on the bus, but I don't know which bus goes to where I live. Learn the bus routes. It's very important.
Do you feel like you need a change?
Stressed about retirement costs? Just want to see the world?
Not sure where to begin? Do you have questions about housing and cost of living?
Follow our journey here in Ecuador to answer those questions and more.
For real estate information in Ecuador, please click the link below.
Another thing that I wanted to mention is, and it's something I think that maybe we forget to mention, or even anyone forgets to mention when they're talking about giving tips for moving abroad, or whatever retirement tips in general, is you have to actually be willing to do it. And that seems obvious, but you may have the idea in your head that it's a good idea to move to a Latin American country or to Africa or something like that, until it's actually time to do it. And then you start second guessing, saying, am I really ready to do this? So if you're not the type of person that can actually just commit to something, really think hard before making a decision to leave your home country. Because it's
different.
Right. It seems like something you'll love, but it's not easy.
It is not. I mean, what you see when you go on vacation is not the same.
It's not life.
As what you see when you're living in the country.
Yeah.
It's totally different. Because the one thing when you're on vacation, you're only going to see so much, and you're seeing the good parts, where the tourist goes, and but when you're living, you see all the parts. Yeah. And so it's an adjustment.
Yeah. The next thing I want to speak about is personal safety. A lot of the African Americans who ask us questions about, safety. How do you stay safe? We say the same thing to everyone, honestly. Treat every situation the way you would in the States. Now, if you were very loose about things in the States, then okay, you might need to change how you are a bit. But we were very cautious about the things we did in the States before we ever came to Ecuador.
Yes, and I think we stressed this a lot in our other videos when we talked about safety, moving to Ecuador. We are basically the same way we are in the U.S.
Yeah.
We don't do a lot. We don't do a lot of
unnecessary extracurricular activities. And it's not because we're just scared to do anything. No, we're just naturally that boring. We don't want to do those things. So if you're the type of person that has to be out at midnight, because you're not working, so you're like, I can be out at midnight every night. Okay, that's fine. Just know that the place that you're researching may be a bit dangerous after 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
And you may not be able to do some of those things. You may not be able to go to the clubs like you used to in the States, although a lot of crazy stuff happens in clubs in the States.
That's true.
But that being said, you're not worried about getting kidnapped at 2 o'clock in the morning in the States. You're worried about maybe getting robbed or shot. So think about the situation you're going to be putting yourself in if you continue the same lifestyle you had in the States. And know that the place that you're coming to, you may not be able to do the same things. And that's something you have to consider, because it may be a reason for you to not move.
Yeah.
You have to keep your head on a swivel here, whether you're in, Ecuador,
Anywhere.
Colombia, Peru,
Anywhere.
Brazil, yeah. When
it
we
was
were
the
in
same,
Europe, we treated it the same way.
Same way.
Head on a swivel.
Because you have pickpocketers, people trying to steal things. You just need to be aware of your surroundings. So no matter where you go, whether you think it's safe or someone told you, oh, it's really safe,
Yeah.
you don't know. It depends. Anything can happen. You've been in the wrong place at the wrong time.
One rule we kind of go by is don't trust nobody. Don't trust. Assume everybody's trying to kill you or rob you. You ain't got to be scared. I'm just saying, look at everybody that way. Universal precautions, if you will.
If you get in trouble, you need to understand your rights
And the laws of the country.
Because you may not have any. And do not come with an attitude of, I can do what I want. No one's going to do this. No one's going to say anything to me. No one, whatever it is. Leave that elsewhere.
Yeah.
Be respectful. They will be respectful towards you. Mind your business. Mind your business.
Yeah.
And, just don't come with an attitude of, I know I got rights. No, you don't. I can do this. No, you can't.
Or that I'm better than they are attitude. Don't fall into that.
Being in the States, we're very privileged to do certain things.
And have a lot of things.
Just think about a person of color, how you're treated in the U.S. Don't bring that and treat the people here like that.
Right.
Because you understand what it feels like.
Yeah.
So don't do that. Be respectful.
So, LaShawn.
Yes.
Should or should not an African American person still consider leaving the United States, especially speaking for our experience coming to Ecuador?
Okay. So, yes, Ecuador is a beautiful country. I don't have anything bad to say about it because I haven't experienced anything negative. No, if what's happening here, because you're not here, seeing what's going on, I would say wait until you see things get to the point where you feel comfortable with coming. So, no, if you're not comfortable with what's going on, you want to wait, I would say wait. And if you choose to go elsewhere, by all means, look elsewhere. Because just because you can't come here and because of what's going on, don't let it stop you from going anywhere else. If you have 2 or 3 places that you said, oh, I want to move to, I want to relocate to, and they are still your top 3 choices, by all means, go there. And if this gets better or more to your liking, then you can come at that time.
That took the words right out of my mouth. That's pretty much what I would have said. Yeah, do your research. If the current situation in the country is too much, totally understand that. I wouldn't put anybody down for not choosing to come to Ecuador right now.
If we were not here,
right? We probably wouldn't.
We probably be kind of hesitant because we don't know. We're not here,
right?
And I understand that people who are here may decide they want to leave. That's perfectly understandable. Like we said, we have a backup plan, and that would come into effect if need be.
But right now, it don't need be.
Okay, you see what I'm dealing with, right?
So yeah, that's just our few tips for everyone, honestly, but in particular our African American viewers and friends on like Facebook that ask us questions. Just want to answer a few of those things.
I wanted to add to, even if you are still thinking about relocating, still relocate. Don't let one place deter you from going somewhere else.
Right.
Venture out. Go check out places. Also, one thing we did not talk about, if you're working remotely in another country or deciding to work remotely in another country, you need to understand their internet service. You need to know whether they have good internet service. Do they have blackouts? How often do they have blackouts? Because if your job expects you to be online,
Yeah, no matter what,
you may want to look somewhere else.
Yeah, if you're in a place with frequent blackouts or brownouts, which they happen kind of frequently here, it may not be the best if you're working as a
Customer
service for a major company, because you have to be on. If they're going to pay you to work remotely, they expect you to be on.
Yeah. Unless you have a understanding supervisor or manager and they know these things, then yeah. But you want to do your research. Here in Ecuador, jobs are only available to the locals. They are not available to foreigners. You may, if you have a degree, you may get hired as an English teacher. Just know here in Ecuador, jobs are for locals only. And if you decide to go anywhere else, you want to check if you're able to get a job as a foreigner. And understand pay differences.
It's way different.
You're not gonna get what you get in the States.
That may be a whole another video.
Yeah, it's totally different.
Yeah. So anyway, the sun's going down, so we're gonna
Wrap this up.
Thanks for watching.
Hope
you appreciate the tips. We'll see you next time. Remember to like, share,
and subscribe.
Bye.
Bye.